Hey there, CrossFit Relentless athletes. Welcome to another Be Relentless vlog. Super excited about this one because I get to go ahead and let you know that our retainer with Anthony, our sports rehab consults, are now live, right? You're able to go onto Wodify and schedule one of your consults. Now, let's go ahead and let's explain some details about these. They're gonna be 30 minutes long. Plan on 20 minutes, right? We're putting 30 minutes on the schedule for the month of August to go ahead and kind of see what the time frame is. Plan on 20 minutes though, and then that gives us about 10 minutes to transition from one client to another, right? One athlete to another. How you get to them is when you go into your app or on your desktop and you go to sign in for a class, you're simply going to have, rather than picking CrossFit or the competitive programming, you're gonna scroll all the way down and go to Sports Rehab Consult. Right? Now, you're going to check that, and then you need to go to one of these 3 dates, whichever works well in your schedule. That's going to be August 12th, August 16th, or August 23rd. That's this Saturday, next Wednesday, and the Wednesday after that. Now, it's what you're going to go ahead and see. Traditionally, that there'll be a 4-hour block in the morning from 8 a.m. to noon on Saturdays when we do this, and then it'll be a 2-hour block on Wednesdays from 8 to 10. So this is morning scheduling, right? Now, this is not going out to his office, right? This is you coming to the gym and you getting professional care here. This is a part of Amy's and my commitment to making sure that your experience at the CrossFit Deliverance is as best as possible. Us living into our vision and our mission and our value statements, right? Freedom from mediocrity, right? And through a relentless virtuosity, right? There is no other CrossFit gym in the Pacific Northwest right now that's doing this. Yes, there are CrossFit gyms that house PTs and physios on site, but not a CrossFit gym that actually goes ahead and allows members to go ahead and have free consults on a monthly basis with a physio on site. We're so excited. We're super excied about this. We couldn't even, I'm stammering over my words because I don't know what to say about it. I'm running out. So guys, this is starting now. Right? If you have questions, feel free to ask me, and let's go ahead and let's get these spots filled up and to go ahead and you guys to be able to really work on either any aches or bruises or tweaks that was inside the gym or outside the gym, guys. Now, let's jump into the rest of the week. Friday is going to be Frosty Friday, and that is the one that Amy and I are going to be hosting. So you can expect some refreshments and some food available via us. Also, remember, August, our out of gym event is going to be the day hike at Lake 22. So look on the Facebook member page to sign up for that and get involved in the coordination of it. Other than that, guys, let's jump into the programming. This workout is going to be, think of a skill workout, even if you're a Fit for Life athlete that's just coming for normal classes, or if you're a competitor going to the comp class, doing the workout outside of class, or when you're in class. So let's break it down. It's a 15-minute AMRAP. It's going to be 200-meter run, 10 single arm dumbbell overhead squats, and then it's going to be 10 weighted overhead sit-ups, right? So there's going to be a fair amount of shoulder fatigue and asking of the shoulder to stabilize overhead. Now, the weighted sit-ups, I believe everybody can do these if we scale the weight low enough, but it doesn't ask a ton of stability. Now, what it's asking, right, which a movement of a ton of stability and mobility, is going to be the single arm dumbbell squats, right? Overhead squats. Now, this is my intention that I want you guys to have. If you have the requisite mobility to go ahead and complete the overhead squat with the dumbbell overhead, then go ahead and attack it, but pick a weight that you can do 5 unbroken in a safe and stable manner. Right? That's the intention that I want you to go ahead and give. The RX weight is very heavy, right? And that's the chance for the individuals that are strong and have mobility to shine and just like click, I've got that, right? I can do this in a safe manner. If I see it starting to be really unstable, all the coaches go and know, and I will know to go ahead and just be like, hey, we need a drop load. Now, if you have the ability to do this, as I said, scale down, right? That's your job, knowing what weight you need to go ahead and be at. Now, if you don't have the requisite stability and mobility to do it, then you're gonna go ahead and do a single arm overhead dumbbell lunge. This will take at least the mobility issue out of their hips, which is most people's issues, and then we'll go ahead and get as heavy as we can as long as we're doing it safely, right? And we're putting a appropriate amount of tension through the shoulder to stabilize the dumbbell overhead. So guys, that's the intention, right? Just to go ahead, go a nice easy paced workout, pick the load, and use this as a chance to work on a skill that is challenging, but still in a workout setting where you're just moving and you have other movements to do. Guys, so that's the intention of the workout. If you're fit for life or you're on the competitive side, right? So with that, let's go ahead, let's jump into the rest of the extra work, right? For normal class, you're gonna be doing some strict press in your lunge behind the neck. We'll talk about that in class, and then you're going to be just working on some toes to bar, just collecting those. For comp, you're going to be working on the weightlifting section after this, which is going to be a new movement that a lot of you probably haven't done, and it's going to be involving a complex of a front squat jerk and then a pause split jerk, right? Now, a front squat split jerk, right, is essentially going to be you doing a front squat, and then rather than finishing off like a thruster, you're actually going to finish off in a split jerk, right? So what this does, and this is what the intention that I want you guys to have it, is to tell you how vertical your squat actually is, right? A lot of us in thrusters are usually sub-maximal loading, so it's easy for us to go ahead and make sure to let our thoracic get soft, or we get loose in our lumbar, so we have a posterior pelvic tilt, butt wink, and we're unorganized in our squat, right, for a thruster, and because the load's not bad and we don't feel the bar path a ton, right? It can arc away from us. It's not really a big deal. But when it comes to weightlifting and we start having heavier loads, we know right away, right, if the bar path on a split jerk is arcing away from us, right? We either lose the lift forward, right, if it's really heavy, or if it's behind, if it's a little submaximal, right, because we're trying to overcorrect and pull the bar back or push it back. So it's going to give you feedback as you come out of your squat how vertical you are, because you shouldn't feel any difference on the last 3 to 4 inches of your front squat coming out of it as if you were going into your dip, right? So you're working on that vertical torso coming out of it, right? Now with that, we're gonna go ahead and go into a pause jerk, right? The pause jerk is gonna be at the bottom of the dip, right? This is, of course, just telling you where you naturally find your weight and your power. If it's in your toes, if it's in your heels, if it's in the middle of your foot. Remember, to create a good balance and create the maximum amount of power, we're trying to dip through your arch of your foot. The arch of it is the center of your foot, which means we get to use the anterior and the posterior side of your legs, which means we get to use all of it, which means maximal power up. For those of you that are pretty good about dipping into your arch, then you should focus about where your midline is going. What is happening with your midline? Are you soft in your midline? Are you overextending? Are you, as you dip, are you going ahead and letting your thoracic go and become soft? That's what my intentions are. Then of course, guys, we're gonna do just some behind the neck strict press, right? And then we're gonna do day 2 of week 2 of our accessory blocks. Now guys, the accessory blocks, I know sometimes that they're easy to go ahead. I'm done with my training session. I'm not going to do these accessory blocks. But if you got that feeling when I assigned you the accessory block and you're like, wow, okay, that was pretty much spot on, I need to work on that, that should be your cue that you really need to do this, right? This is the unsexy work. This is what misfits, right? I think, so they called a portion of their work bitch work, right? Where it just sucks, it's not fun, it's hard. This is kind of like that. Some of this stuff is not fun, but it will make you better if you're intentional and you really become aware and try to do it to the best of your ability, like any of our movements. Guys, I'm starting to ramble. Remember, be relentless in everything that you do. Try to take advantage of our sports rehab consults, and keep on giving me feedback, guys. Always appreciate it. We'll see you on the flip side.